Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like time has stolen something from you? The face staring back isn't quite the same as the one you remember. The world moves faster, friendships shift, and the body you once trusted now feels unfamiliar. Aging is a journey full of change, and let's be honest, it can feel like an uphill battle. But what if I told you the battle isn't against aging itself? The real struggle is against our resistance to it. Buddhism teaches that suffering arises when we fight the natural flow of life. Impermanence, anicca, the truth that everything changes, is not something to fear. Instead, it is the very key to freedom. We spend so much time holding on, trying to freeze moments, trying to preserve what must inevitably change. But what if aging isn't something to dread? What if it's something to embrace? Today, I'll share 5 profound Buddhist secrets about aging that will completely shift your perspective. These truths are not bitter, they are powerful, liberating, and even beautiful. Once you embrace them, you'll begin to experience aging not as a loss, but as an unfolding of something deeper, something richer. So stick with me, because what you'll learn today might just change the way you see the rest of your life. One of the hardest truths to accept is this: you will be forgotten sooner than you think. The career you built, the home you cherished, the stories you told, over time, they will fade from memory. At first, this realization can feel heartbreaking. We spend our lives striving to make a difference, believing that our efforts will leave a lasting mark. But time moves forward with or without us. Our children get busy, our friends have their own lives, and eventually the world turns its attention elsewhere. Yet Buddhism offers a liberating perspective. The Buddha often spoke of anatta, the doctrine of no self. The idea that we are fixed, permanent beings is an illusion. Just as waves rise and fall in the ocean, so too do we arise and pass away, leaving ripples that merge into the great flow of life. Our goal should not be to be remembered, but to be fully present in each moment. A Zen story illustrates this beautifully. A wise old monk lived in a remote mountain temple, known for his kindness and wisdom. Over the decades, many sought his advice. One day, a young disciple asked, "Master, does it not sadden you that when you pass away, people may forget your name?" The old monk smiled and pointed to a river flowing past the temple. "Tell me," he said, "where is the water that was here yesterday?" The disciple hesitated. "It has flowed on," the monk continued. "Yet the river remains." The lesson is clear. It is not the name we leave behind, but the current of our actions. The kindness, wisdom, and love you share today do not disappear. They live on, not as names in history books, but in the hearts of those you've touched. So let go of the need to be remembered. Instead, focus on living well now. Aging comes with changes, aches, wrinkles, and slower movement. At times it can feel like a betrayal, but the Buddha would say it is merely nature at work. Just as a tree loses its leaves in autumn, the body must change. The suffering doesn't come from aging itself, but from our attachment to youth. Your body has carried you through every moment of your life. It has healed from sickness, adapted to stress, and endured all that you have put it through. Instead of resenting it for slowing down, why not show it gratitude? A Buddhist parable tells of an aging monk who struggled to carry water as he once did. Frustrated, he asked his teacher, "Why does my body fail me? It once obeyed my every command." The teacher handed him a cracked clay pot and said, "This pot once held water without effort. Now it leaks. Does that mean it is useless?" The monk shook his head. "No, master, it still holds some water." The teacher smiled. "And does that not still serve a purpose?" The monk understood. His body had changed, but it still had value. So does yours. Aging is not about lamenting what has been lost, but recognizing what remains. As you grow older, you will notice something heartbreaking. People drift away. Friends who were once inseparable become distant. Family members who used to call regularly become occasional visitors. Some disappear without reason, leaving only silence where there was once laughter. Buddhism teaches that everything in life is impermanent, including relationships. People come into our lives when we need them, and leave when their role in our story is done. A Buddhist master once compared life to a river. Some drops travel together for a while, merging and dancing side by side. Others separate quickly, carried away by the current. Instead of mourning lost connections, cherish those who remain. Value the friend who still calls, the neighbor who smiles, the grandchild who listens to your stories, and most importantly, remain open to new relationships. Life is still offering you moments of connection, if you let it. Society constantly pushes the idea that youth equates to beauty, urging us to resist aging through creams, surgeries, and filters. But Buddhist wisdom teaches that true beauty is not about chasing youth. It is found in wisdom, presence, and kindness. An aging woman once lamented her fading looks to a Zen master. In response, he took her to a lush garden, first pointing to a cherry blossom tree in full bloom. "This is beauty, is it not?" he asked. She nodded. Then he led her to an ancient pine tree with deep grooves in its bark, its branches twisted with age. "And this?" She hesitated. "It is different, but dignified," she said. The master smiled. "That is the nature of wisdom. A child sees beauty only in the fleeting cherry blossom, but with time, we learn to admire the strength and endurance of the pine." Our wrinkles are not imperfections. They are marks of laughter, love, and resilience. Gray hair is not something to be ashamed of. It is a crown of experience. With each passing year, our beauty transforms into something deeper, richer, and more meaningful. True beauty is not something behind us. It is something we carry with us, growing stronger with time. Wear your years with pride, for they tell the story of a life well lived. Aging inevitably brings more encounters with loss, as loved ones pass away one by one. Grief is a deeply human experience, and its pain can feel overwhelming. But Buddhism teaches us a powerful truth. Love never truly disappears. Those who leave this world are not gone. Their essence lingers in the lessons they taught us, the love they shared, and the mark they left on our hearts. The story of Kissa Gotami and the mustard seed teaches that grief is an inseparable thread woven into life. We all must face the sorrow of loss, but we do not walk this path alone. Everyone experiences this universal truth. Yet, while the physical presence of those we cherish may fade, the love we shared does not vanish. It endures in the way we carry their wisdom forward, in the way we embody their kindness, and in the stories we pass down. Rather than dwelling on what is gone, transform grief into gratitude. Aging means having had the privilege to form deep connections, to share laughter, to experience love. Honor those who have passed by living fully, by continuing to love, and by ensuring that their spirit lives on through your actions and memories. Love, in its purest form, never dies. It simply takes new shapes within us. Aging is not a punishment. It is a privilege. Every wrinkle, every gray hair is a mark of the life you have lived. The more we fight aging, the more we suffer. But the moment we embrace it, we unlock peace. So tell me, what will you do with these secrets? Will you resist time, or will you embrace it with an open heart? Will you mourn the past, or will you celebrate the present? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if this message spoke to you, make sure to watch our next video. Again, aging is not the closing of a book. It is simply the turning of a page. And the next chapter, it's yours to write.